Welcome back. You're still watching In the Game on News Central TV. And favor you to I have Okpelu Adebari in talking of in sports with me this afternoon. And also joining us all the way from Ogun State is a sports journalist currently covering the National Sports Festival. Gbemidepo Popoola joins us this afternoon. Good afternoon to you, Gbemidepo. Thank you very much for joining. It must have been a hectic past few days for you, going from center to center. Welcome once again, and take us through the experience so far covering the National Sports Festival.
All right. Thanks so much for having me once again. Yeah, it's been pretty hectic. There's been a lot of movements here and there. There's been a lot of activities at the centers, the different centers, from the Raymond Center, to the Alake Sports Center, and, as well as, where the wrestling action took place and weightlifting as well. So it's been beautiful so far, if you ask me. There has been a lot of commitment on the part of the athletes as well, despite the distances, to some centers from the base, talking about the camp at Babcock. There have been a lot of, one or two grumbles here and there, but the athletes have been able to find a way around it, and the performances have been outstanding so far, if you ask me. So it's been beautiful, but it's been a bit stressful, but that's what we are here for, definitely.
All right, that's what we're here for. And let's take you through the series of events that went down from Thursday evening up until this morning in a major upset at the 22nd National Sports Festival. Edo State Osareti Godwin dethroned Olympic cyclist Ese Okpeseraye in the women's 200-meter sprint final. The dramatic event held near Kobakwe saw Osareti win both races in the best of two formats, ending Okpeseraye's gold winning streak from Edo 2020 and Delta 2022. A photo finish confirmed Osareti's victory in the second race after Okpeseraye prematurely celebrated. Now, the win sparked jubilant scenes, especially from Delta athletes, as Okpeseraye had previously represented their state. Mary Samuel of Delta claimed bronze in the men's sprint, Kwara took gold. Delta Silver and Edo bronze. Now, Osareti's trial signals a shift in Nigerian cyclists' elite ranks and marks a breakthrough on the national stage. This particular news came to many as a shock. It was an upset indeed when you consider what the Olympian has done in the past. But take us through the experience. I mean, having to see a young athlete upset a national and international athlete.
Yeah, so far, I think this competition has given us a few of that, athletes, being upset at this point in time. It's been quite a number, apart from what happened in cycling. But the cycling was, for me, I saw it coming, because during the heat as well, something like that happened, where she actually won the heat as well. The young athletes won the heat, and, we're all like, okay, this is just like more or less like a preparation phase. But at the end of the day, it showed that it wasn't a flash in the pan, because the consistency this young lad has brought on board when it comes to cycling, I think she's one to watch for the future. And you do not just upstage or upset someone who has won the NSF, cycling tournament 2 times, an Olympian as well. But I think, the ex-champion just needs to, work on herself and know that, there's no champion forever, and probably just go back to the training board or the drawing board for me. And, it's surprising, no doubt, but I think I saw it coming, starting from the heat when we saw that she had a beautiful one against, the now ex-champion. And I think the world is at her feet at this point. The sky is her starting point, and she can go on from there to achieve great things.
All right, Okpelu Adebari has a question for you, Gbemidepo.
All right, Gbemidepo, I know that it's still early days, in the International Sports Festival, but, some things were basically promised to athletes, to journalists who would be on ground to be a part of this event. So I don't know if it's possible for you to confirm some of these. I think, first of all, it was promised that there would be ample accommodation for the journalists that would be, taking part in this event, and also for the athletes. Could you speak to that in terms of the facilities being provided for journalists on ground and both athletes as well? Definitely, as the competition goes on, we know that more athletes will be trooping into camp as well. But do we have enough accommodation for both journalists on ground and athletes?
All right, I will start on the part of the athletes. For me, I think the accommodation on ground for the athletes, for me, has been outstanding. Everyone around here talking about the athletes. We're well sorted. we had a media panel with that's the NSC, the DGNSC, and they spoke about the accommodation as well, talking about that they prepared for about 9,940 athletes or thereabouts, and at the moment they have over 11,000 athletes. And everyone is sorted when it comes to accommodation for the athletes. When it comes to accommodation for media journalists, that's where there are a bit of conspiracies here and there, right? The state said it had provided 100 rooms, say for 100 journalists. According to what we have, that was what they said. 100 journalists would be sorted and catered for when it comes to accommodation. But when the news broke out initially on a platform where we all are, there were different criteria. In fact, very funny criteria. So I talked about experienced journalists in quotes, those that the accommodations are for or are meant for. And at this point in time, a few of our colleagues actually went there to actually confirm, okay, where's the accommodation? Yeah, some have been sorted, some have been able to get accommodation, but in all sincerity, the accommodation has not been available for all, basically. That's where we stand at this point.
Well, really, really sad. I mean, when you look at the journalists, the persons who dish out this news, who are always on the forefront, bringing the news to the people. I remember in Edo State, journalists, including myself, had to look for hotels to rent to cover the National Sports Festival. It has always been when you need the journalists to do the news, you look for them. But when it comes to basic welfare, I mean, try to ensure they are okay and they are fine. You definitely may not even see that. But we just hope that one day we'll get it right with the journalists covering events in Nigeria. Yes, they're trying their best, but they can do better. But talking about other events at the National Sports Festival, Taiwo Ogunbawo of Team Ogun delivered a historic upset at the National Sports Festival in Abeokuta, dethroning long-time champion Okposo Esugo of Delta State in the men's 10-meter air rifle event. Competing at the June 12th Cultural Center, Ogunbawo scored 225.4 points over 12 rounds, surpassing Esugo's 223.5. Samuel Okolawon of Borno State claimed bronze with 204.0 points. The win ended Esugo's 15-year dominance and secured gold for the host state. Ogunbawo also partnered with Oluremi Emmanuel to win silver in the team event. His performance boosted Ogun State's medal tally and highlighted the impact of the 2.5 million gold reward promised to Team Ogun State athletes by the state government. This is an interesting story. Now, Esugo's 15-year dominance. By the way, in 2018, I had a media shooting workshop where Esugo trained me to do a 10-meter air rifle, and I actually won gold medal in 2018 at the media workshop in Abuja. And now Esugo, his wife is also a shooter, and today he has been dethroned. I mean, 15-year dominance in Nigerian shooting air rifle.
Yeah, and I think it probably took too long for him to be dethroned, but I think that also speaks to his expertise and his years of dedication towards the sport. That's just what it is at the end of the day. But I think it's quite sad that it has taken so long for him to be dethroned. It's a good day, for the sport in general. But when you take a look at it holistically, you begin to think to yourself, why does Nigeria not, or rather, why do our sporting administrations, why don't they invest fully in all these different multi-sports? I mean, sports like this bring a lot of flavor and life into tournaments like this, talking about the National Festival. And honestly, aside the National Festival, I honestly do not think that we have another full platform in which some of these sports can actually be showcased. So it's a good one, honestly. There's the good and the bad side to things like this. But I think at this point in time, we can focus on the positive, knowing that there's a future in this sport.
Yeah, future in this sport. When you look at shooting, Gbemidepo, shooting has over 30 medals that can be won at the Olympics. In fact, it's one of the sports that has the most medals when you look at the Olympic setting. And Nigeria, when you look at the ranges we have in Nigeria, we do not have lots of ranges where athletes can go and train. For instance, there's a range at the Package B Stadium in Abuja. How many states? Maybe Delta, Akwa Ibom, and some states in the north that has a shooting range. So it's quite an expensive sport. I mean, the guns they use is in millions of naira. Maybe that's why when Ekpeyong also looked at the chances of Nigeria and why we've not grown past this. Maybe that could be an issue in terms of how expensive the sport is, getting to buy this equipment and the pellet, which is of course serves as the bullet for these guns.
Yeah, definitely. I would agree with you. Yeah, it's an expensive sport, and more or less a little bit complicated. It's not as straightforward as we're talking about it at this point in time. It takes a lot of time, takes a lot of practice, consistency, in the game as well. And, to get the services needed, to get the tools, for practice as well, it's not easy to get as well. So it's not something you can practice, outside of a certain geographical space, like practice in your room or practice in your compound. So it's an expensive sport, and it takes a lot to put together. But at the same time, I think I would agree with Okwe talking about the fact that, I think as a country, as a nation, we should, diversify, look at other aspects where we can actually develop and grow as well. Like you rightly mentioned, there's about 30, opportunities to actually win medals. And I think this is where we can as well focus on, channel our energy into as a country, give these athletes ample room for opportunities, and as well create platforms for them where they can actually show, learn, and grow as well. And from there, I think we can make a proper standings from there.
All right, proper studies from there. Lots of events in shooting. We have pistol, we have 10-meter air rifle, 50-meter air rifle, 100 meters. We have laser, different events in shooting, and we hope that the Shooting Federation can also, key in this, and of course have more exposure to the sport. Let's move on away from there now to the world of tennis. Top Nigerian tennis players, including Quadri Barakat, Christopher Bolus, and David Ekpeyong, have all qualified to the quarterfinals of the tennis event at the ongoing National Sports Festival in Bayelsa, Ogun State. And looking at Barakat, she cruised past Rebecca Ekpeyong 4-1, 4-love, while Bolus and Ekpeyong also secured straight set wins to keep their title hopes alive. In the women's draw, Omotayo Blessing and Etoro Basi impressed with dominant performances. In the men's action, Nigeria's #1 Ekpeyong is past Ruby Toba, and will now face Danjuma and Lucky. We were seeing international athletes. I mean, for Barakat Quadri, she's based in the United States of America. She had to come down to Nigeria to be part of the National Sports Festival Ekpeyong, and they're doing a lot and living up to expectation.
Yeah, honestly, it's amazing, and it's good to see that we've got some foreign-based athletes coming home to showcase their talent and wanting to compete as well. I remember that a couple of weeks before the festival started, rumor had it that it might be possible that Toby Amuson also comes around and participates in athletics, probably the 100 meters event or the 100 meters hurdles, as the case may be. So we might never know. There's still time, as athletics will be starting very soon. So it's good to see this, and I'm glad that we've got more top competitors in tennis as well. I think this is one sport in which Nigeria has been missing from the limelight, not just globally, but in Africa as well, as we've got our Egyptian and Moroccan compatriots who are pushing on and trying to put their names on the map on the global stage. So, but this is good news for us. I just like I said earlier, this is what the National Sports Festival is about, and it's good to see that we've got some top athletes around to compete.
All right, let's still talk about the National Sports Festival and head, despite the fact that we have Gbemidepo right there in Bayelsa. We also have our correspondent, New Central's correspondent in Bayelsa, Ogun State. Babatunde Koiki joins us this afternoon. Good afternoon to you. Kindly confirm where you are and what's the update from Bayelsa.
The venue for the kickboxing event has been very entertaining so far. It's action packed, and I can tell you that the action continues all throughout the day. There are men and women's events all lined up for today. Already we've seen 4 bouts for the women. 58 kilograms for today and 58 kilograms for today. The women's squad, Delta State defeated Rita of Borno in the first 4 fights. That was abandoned in round 1. Then Adeyemi Abayomi lost to Uchenna in the second house. Charles Ikura of producing the third of Fire State by TK of Plateau also defeated as many as 25 of the fights scheduled for today. But the action here in the high school in Adeyemi has been absolutely incredible.
All right, thank you very much for the update. You've talked about the results so far from that particular center in the world of boxing. Amongst these states you've witnessed so far, which of these states do you think has gotten a hold of the boxing ring so far in terms of preparedness and the results we're having?
all of them are particularly like the class position, really good fight so far. The rest of Plateau State have done well, Ogun State have done well, Lagos State have done well. Everything here for tends to be really good. And the thing is so exciting that, believe it or not, we have the Super League here who is the international of the Boxing as well. Is also here as well. It was some exciting boxing has been so far. And so 2 days ago, the deputy governor of the state was here. We actually live. The action has been really good. The man you have seen, I think, what in my fight for today, it's been really good. I think it's it's in round 3 right now. So that's the end. But the action is
all right, thank you very much, Babatunde Koiki, for that update. We must allow you go. Interesting updates right there from the boxing arena, where boxing and kickboxing is ongoing simultaneously. Different centers, different events happening simultaneously across board. Why that is happening? Let's give you updates from the world of athletics. We'll get some visuals already from our correspondent, who is always also at that ground at the MKO Abiola Stadium. Track and field events began today with full day of athletics action at the MKO Abiola Stadium. The morning session featured finals. 4x4 meter men's and women's exchange of batons being witnessed, and interesting race from different states. And we hear that Team Delta, Team Edo, Team Lagos are giving other states a run for their money. And Osun State, we also hear they've qualified to the finals of the 4x4 right there. And when it comes to athletics, Okpe and Gbemidepo, let me start with you, Gbemidepo. When it comes to athletics, there's always these expectations. I mean, amongst all the events in sports, aside football, whenever athletics starts, you get to see that there are lots of excitement in the air, from field events to track events.
Definitely, it promises a lot of excitement because athletics. This is one of the games, sports that people follow a lot apart from football in Nigeria. It has won us a lot of medals outside the shores of the continent and not the continent. So a lot of people want to see their favorite athletes. They want to see Favor Ashe. Even if the possibility of Favor Ofili being around too was available, they would take it as well with open arms as well. And the likes of Tobi Amusho, as you mentioned, people want to see their stars. They want to see those who started from the grassroots and have made it out there to compete, and probably might just come back for the National Sports Festival and just strut their stuff. This is where they started from, and that is why it's always exciting. It's always an exciting moment. So there are a lot of expectations around this, from fans and enthusiasts alike. That want to see this happen always whenever this National Sports Festival is around. So that's why there is always excitement in the air when athletics is around the corner.
All right, guys, before we leave the National Sports Festival, let's take a look at the table. The last table was released at 12 p.m. today. Let's look at where the states are at the moment. Team Bayelsa continue their lead. They're still top of the table with 32 medals, 32 gold, 14 silver, and 15 bronze medal, a total of 61. Now, Delta are in second with 31 gold, 11 silver, bronze, and of course 28 bronze. That's 70 medals in total. Rivers State currently 15 gold, 11 silver, 11 bronze, that's 37. Ogun State are fourth. Oyo State are fifth. We have Lagos, Osun, Edo, Akwa Ibom, and Plateau State. Okwe, where is your state? Gbemidepo, where is your state?
My state is the home state. We're in fourth position at the moment. Hopefully we get to climb up the leaderboard sooner than later.
All right, Gbemidepo.
Is it states by heritage or by where I live or by where I work?
These are the issues. That's the issues. Where are you from? Yes, of course, you're a Nigerian, but of course, where is your father from? So that should, answer the question. Are you scared or shy that your state is not currently doing well? Are you from Osun State? Let us know, Ekiti. Let us know.
Yeah, I'm from Ekiti.
No wonder.
Not to the top 10
I mean, no wonder.
We're coming.
Yeah. All right, yeah, like Manchester United, I keep coming off the table, but then they're still where they are. But anyways, let's see how it goes. But by the way, interesting one right there. Delta State are the defending champions. They've won it back to back to back, and looking like Bayelsa will dethrone them this time around. But let's move on now to the athletics venue, the MKO Abiola Stadium, where our correspondent Toby Ayinde is also waiting to give us updates from the MKO Abiola Stadium. Toby, good afternoon to you, and thank you very much for joining. What's the update? What's the latest from where you are?
Good afternoon, Favor. It's so good to be here this afternoon. It's shiny right here at the MKO Abiola Stadium. And just before the athletics events began, there was a little drizzle. The rains poured and it's actually delayed for just a bit. But we have started the heats already, the 4x400 meter heats, relay heat, mixed relay heat began this morning. And I can tell you that Team Edo, Bayelsa, and Lagos qualified for the final of that heat. Right now, the para athletes are actually running the heats also, as we have T54 and T53 800 meter men and women that are going on also. So it's been exciting right here. The crowd are here, they are happy, they are excited. And it's been nothing short of joy right here at the MKO Abiola Stadium in Abeokuta.
All right, Toby, before we let you go, can you take us through the star athletes that have arrived at the athletics venue? Are there players or athletes who are based in the US, or athletes who, of course, have been to the Olympics that you can cite from where you've been observing?
Well, I've not been able to cite any of the athletes that actually have been to the Olympics, but I can say that according to what I have heard, Enoch Adegoke, who represented Nigeria in the Olympics a couple of years ago and actually had a personal best of about 9.98, if I can remember correctly, is right here and is set to actually compete. Favor Ashe also is presently in Abeokuta, is set to compete also. So we have a couple of those athletes right here. They are going to be competing for various states in the 100-meter races.
All right, thank you very much, Toby, for your update. To keep tabs with you in subsequent editions of our bulletin. Thank you very much. All right, that was Loa Toby Ainde giving us updates from the MKO Abiola Stadium. The athletics events, like we said, began today. And Gbemidepo, I want to say a big thank you to you. You've been very wonderful talking athletics, talking everything about the National Sport Festival. I'm very sure that after now, you'll be headed to one of the venues to also witness whatever is happening at the moment. But thank you very much for your quality time.